something which is quite basic, but it's about just having small sections whereby you have a strong image or a reasonable image and you just got a bit of text going on then. How can you make it work? And this is something that is a common problem that I've come across with people when I'm reviewing websites, and I just want to show you how I kind of approach it. So I'm going to create a section. They're going to be 550 pixels. They're not full screen, but they're a relatively pretty decent size going on there. Just going to have no gap there, and I'm going to make them a boxed width for the size of my screen, 900. You'd probably have them a little bit, but in fact, no, we'll go with 1000. That's okay, yeah. Now I'm going to give this a background image, and I've got some images that I've created. Not created, I've gone and got. And these images are 1600 by 550 pixels in width. But you want to go for images that kind of work well for you. So I'm going to pick this image over here. I've purposely selected images where there's a bit of empty space or a bit of less busyness on the left or right hand side. So I've selected an image, center, scroll, no repeat, and it's a cover, okay? And there's going to be no scrolling effects going on there at the moment. We have a pretty solid, nice image, and it's going to stretch very nicely across the screen. Here's where you would now drop in your power text, okay? So you're going to have some text that we're going to stick on the left over here. I'm going to change this to be a white, and I'm going to go to typography, and I'm going to make this be Lato, and I'm going to give it about 600 is fine, and I'm going to make the REM for this be, we'll go with 4-ish, no, 3 even. 4 was a bit too big there. I'm just going to shrink this text down because your text doesn't have to actually be massively big. If I click on the text, I go to typography, I'm just going to, sorry, not typography, I'm going to go for text shadow, and I'm just going to give this a bit of a dark shadow there just around the wording, so it's slightly a bit more 3D coming out there. Now underneath, we are going to stick some text here as well. I'm going to make this be white. Again, I would say give it a bit of text shadow, again, just so it stands out a little bit. Obviously, increase the size of the wording that we've got here, because this looks a bit, oh, come on, go away, go away. Hate it when it overlaps like that. Right, now we're going to go for railway, and I'm going to go for a size of 1.5 REM. Now, even though I've done that, the text still isn't very clear, so I'm going to go to the column, and I'm going to click on background, but I'm not going to pick a background color. I'm just going to click on the paintbrush, and as soon as you do that, the background overlay option becomes available. It's always weird why you have to click on background before that appears for the column. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick a black color, and I'm not going to have it as full on black. I'm going to drop it down so it's just a little, so I can see through it. You know, I can see the content, but it's now allowing me to read the wording as well. It's just a little bit clearer there. And while we're in the column, we might as well do a bit of resizing here as well. So let's just go to advanced. And for the padding, I'm going to go with about 20. So I get a bit of padding around there. I'm going to go to the style, go to border. I'm going to give it about 15. So we get a bit of curvature around it. I'm going to actually add a box shadow to the column as well. So we get a bit of a 3D effect going on as it's coming off the screen. Just a little bit, not massively. This is way too big. This is 1000, so I'm gonna roughly halve it, I think. So we'll go with a 500. I've dropped the text in there to be 1.2 because I've suddenly realized it is looking a little bit too big. I'm just gonna go back to my header. I'm gonna drop that to be about 2.5 as well, something like that. And if we now just update that, we now have our effect, and you can just see the curvature effect actually goes up to about here. So it's kind of overlapping onto the person a little bit. You could change that if you want. You know, like I said, just go to column, and we'll change that to be now 600 maybe. So we get a bit more of an effect like that. So we've got our text. We've got this transparent window almost over it, but we now have our text. And if you have a good, strong image with your text, you can make it work really, really well. Now, here's the really easy, clear bit. Obviously, before you move on, you should have been checking this out in the mobile as well. So you want to make sure you go here, and you will obviously go to your column and you will adjust the sizing, and you might say, actually, we don't want it to now be, you know, 600 pixels away from the right. We're going to change it to only be, I don't know, we might say, okay, let's make it be 40 pixels all the way around. Something like that. Just bear in mind, though, how does it sit on your image? And my key tip is that whenever you put in a image for your section, go to your style, for your section. Can you see the image there? It's got a grey hash pattern going over it. You can now click into that and get another image. At the moment, the image in here, okay, is like a horizontal pattern, right? For the desktop and the tablet. But for the mobile, put a copy of that image into your media library, and this time make a portrait version. You crop it, you scale it, so now you only have a portrait version. And when you stick that in, it will now fit properly, and it helps with your page speed insight score. So just a bit of a tip there. Right, we're just going to duplicate this section, and this is now where you just fly through it. Literally, you just go in and go, all right, let's just change the image. Let's go for this image instead. Just going to move myself a little bit there. Hello. I'm just going to go over to my column, okay, and I'm going to set this to be 0, and I'm just going to go over here and do 600 now, like that. So what we now have is this like dual effect going on here. You got a section, not a full screen, but you got a nice column going on there. And I'm now just going to pick this up, copy it. So we've got a header image, you know, and this can be, when you have strong images, really work in your favor. And I would say it's not a bad idea to add a bit of variation as well into it. So this over here, we'll have a fixed over here like that. We'll do it for this image down here as well. We'll do a bit of a fixed as well over here. So when you're now viewing it, okay, let's just get back to the start. We got our image. We've got a bit of a parallax effect. We get another parallax effect going on over here. And then we get to another image down here as well. So you can have some really strong, in my opinion, representation of images and text on your website that work pretty well, I think. Anyway, look, I hope you like, subscribe, share and follow, and I'll see you soon.